120 of Geeks Who Like Sports. As always, I am Ray Carcillo in California today, LA, California today. It's very cloudy, a little rainy, drizzly. It's actually, I actually like it. It's cooled things off considerably. Joining us, as always, my best friend in the entire world over in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Lee Elias. Lee, how are you doing on this Saturday morning?
Ray, it's that time period again where every 12 to 15 years, a hurricane is heading up to the Northeast and everyone is freaking out and forgetting how unpredictable hurricanes are. This thing could go back in the ocean, it could come back around, but it's a few days away and everybody's freaking out. Probably rightly so, to be honest with you. The Northeast is not equipped to handle even a tropical storm, but it's happening. It's happening right now. I'm feeling completely safe inshore in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in my home, which is on top of a hill. For those of you not so lucky, please take care of yourselves. Otherwise, I'm doing great. It's pretty meh here too. It's a little overcast today. You know, I'm going to say it's been somewhat of a cool summer out here, Ray. We only had a few like 95 days. Most of the summer's been pretty tame. Now it's going to go 120 now that I said something. But I'd be lying if I didn't say
120 for episode 120.
Yeah, there you go. By the way, every time we say an episode number now, it's like, wow. Like when we were in the 40s, it's like, that's cool. Now it's like, wow.
Yeah.
We're well over 150 complete with our leaderboard interviews. Those of you listening, by the way, if you haven't heard our leaderboard interviews, they're kind of evergreen. You can listen to them at any point, especially the trifecta with Kevin Eastman. But I will tell you this, Ray, that I'm looking forward to the winter. I was just telling our producer Katelynn yesterday that around this time of year, I start looking forward to that day where the chill hits the air for the first time. I know it takes a lot longer out where you are. But my sense
almost never comes.
That's fair. You know, my senses turn on when I get that first kind of chill. And you might have to put a hoodie on for the first time because of my athletic history, being a hockey player, that's kind of just when everything starts for me. So I'm at that point of the year. I'm like, God, I'm ready for the summer to end. And I'm ready for the cool air to come back and save us. Episode 120. Yes.
Yes, no, it should be a good one. The weather, this is unusual for LA to have us like a kind of, I don't want to say cold spell, but a cool spell where it's high 70s, low 80s.
Yeah, it's nice.
As it is nice. So it is. Yeah. As you know, it usually is triple digits for most of the month of August. So this is a very nice.
I can't handle when it's 85. Just so everybody knows, I'm the guy that when it's like 60 outside, I'm very comfortable, borderline warm in that. I'm not the guy who wears shorts when it's 45 degrees. That's crazy to me.
Right.
But I'm much more comfortable in 45 degrees than 85 degrees. I'll tell you that all day.
Yeah, no, I don't know about 45 degrees, but definitely
You like the 60s. I remember that when it was wintertime.
Yeah, no, I am a person who breaks the shorts out at 70. So easily. I definitely
easily. Yeah. I'm shorts in the 60s for everybody listening. I can tell you that right now. When it gets below 60, that's when I start changing it up. But I'm looking forward to the temperature drop a little bit. I'm not looking forward to the side effects of what happened when we all go indoors again. But I'm looking forward to the winter.
Yes, it should be a fun winter. We'll get into all that again. We got some good hockey topics today. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Got some great
again. We got hockey, a lot of hockey, a little bit of baseball as always. It is of course baseball. A lot of wrestling, a lot of trailers. Again, a lot of trailers have dropped for both video games and movies and TV shows, which should be fantastic. We got Matt. We got a lot of folks in chat popping in. Hello, everybody. Matt says he enjoys the leaderboard interviews and he wants to know when Annie's going to come on again.
We should set that up. That was a great interview.
She was fantastic. We basically just turned it into a whole regular episode because she obviously was just great. She fit right in. She was absolutely fantastic.
And for those of you listening to the recording of the podcast, thank you for listening. I know at least one of you is driving to work right now, so thank you.
Yes. No, we appreciate it as always. And this should be an interesting episode because I am going on absolutely no sleep. I want to give a shout out to my good friend. I'm 26 hours straight now, folks, where I have not had sleep. I want to give a shout out to my good friend Sean. You might know him if you're on Twitch as Fishy Mobile. He is basically the reason why we can do Twitch live now with Geeks Who Like Sports. It was his birthday. We celebrated his birthday yesterday. His birthday was actually last Sunday. We celebrated yesterday. A lot of stuff to celebrate in our friend group, but that brought us all together for the first time in a while.
With that mentioned, this rundown is built for you because you're going to start falling asleep halfway through the episode, but the last couple topics are going to wake you up again before you inevitably crash hard. And I don't hear from you for 24 hours. So I'm looking forward to this. This is another episode 120. Will Ray stay awake? For those of you watching, Stay tuned to find out, because if he falls asleep at his computer, it's all me all the time, which would be devastating to Ray on his own Twitch channel. That's a little seed of doubt for you, Ray, to stay awake.
Yes. I have to stay awake, because if I fall asleep, there's a chance Lee might start singing. If Lee starts singing,
you don't have to fall asleep for that. Whatever, man. My singing's not that bad. Okay. I've heard way worse. Way worse.
That is fair.
Yes.
But I do not.
No, you're like a little kid embarrassed that his mom is singing or something like that. That's why I love it. Squirmish.
Oh, that is a good way to describe
I know
it. It is like when you are my mom singing right there. There it is.
I'll save you from the retort on that. You don't want to know it, but that's fair.
Yeah. There we go. Anyway, yeah, so great show. We're gonna kick things off as usual. A lot of Marvel stuff and Disney stuff going on. We got the final trailer for Eternals this week. A lot of stuff in this one. A lot of stuff to dissect and break down. Speaking of mothers, Angelina Jolie has seemed to have a very motherly role in this film, and she
there's powers. We got powers in this trailer. We finally saw some powers.
Yes, people shooting lasers out of their eyes, super strength. There's rumors that Angelina Jolie's character might be the mother of Thanos. They might do that connection. That's just a rumor, though. I don't know if they'll go there. The big thing, though, is we saw another Celestial. We know, of course, the Eternals were brought to Earth by the Celestials. They are meant to protect Earth from the Deviants. We saw some Deviants for the first time, and I think this is going to be a terrific movie that really just continues to expand the Marvel universe in every known direction. And yeah, this trailer got me excited for the film. Like really excited. I was looking forward to it. Now I am actually legitimately excited for Eternals. The trailer did exactly what it was supposed to do. I can't wait. Lee, what are your thoughts?
Ray, trivia question for you. How do you get the 4 billion Spider-Man fans to shut up about not having a trailer?
You drop a trailer to another film.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about not the lack of Spider-Man trailers after this weekend. Yeah. Look, the trailer looks great. I think the best part about it is we still don't really know more than we already knew, right? Like, so again, it's a Google search away to find out about the Eternals and the Deviants and everything in between. Yes. Yeah. And they didn't give up much more than that. I'm glad that they did get out of the way. And there's no spoilers with trailers, but I'm glad they did get out of the way why they didn't help out during, Infinity War and Endgame. It's very clearly stated. And I like that because it means we're not going to have to spend the whole movie talking about that. I think Marvel's really making a push now of like, look, it's over. Infinity War and Endgame is over. You know what happened. It's okay. We're moving on, right? And we might do callbacks, but we're moving on to the next phase, which is the multiverse.
Right.
And again, I have a feeling the multiverse is going to play into this a little bit, but it may not. Like, or that maybe something happened. End. Yeah, like look, something happened to unleash the Deviants. That's going to be what happened because, like in the trailer, it's pretty obvious that the Eternals have been split up for at least hundreds of years at this point. Right. And something it's probably thousands, but something's bringing them back together. Right. And maybe that the snap or I should say the blip did something, or there's been reverberations through the galaxy or universe. It doesn't really matter. It looks fun. Yeah. It's going to explain that there's higher power beings in the universe that don't necessarily always get involved. All right. Long shot call out that something in this film will have something to do with the Marvels. I just have a feeling something in this film and
possibly
going to connect. The Marvels roster is expanding pretty aggressively right now. And I mean, look, when you're dealing with just Miss Marvel alone and everything, there's a lot going on. So look, excited for it. All-star cast to say the least. It's cool. I saw, one of those memes the other day. It was just talk about phase 4 and it makes you realize that, look, think about this. This is important to realize. We're excited about phase 4 right now. It's Eternals, Shang-Chi, Spider-Man, all these other shows, no Captain America.
Strange too.
But no Captain America, no Iron Man, and no Thor in the immediate future. Obviously, I know that they just,
until Guardians 3 or the Christmas
phase
special,
5, right? Like except for Thor, there's no movies with those characters until phase 5. And I mean, Iron Heart is going to be the next Iron Man, obviously, but
And actually, she's also going to be she's actually being introduced. That's a good point. Chance for us to bring this up in Black Panther too. Yeah. That was also announced this week.
Which means that probably some Wakandan technology is going to go into developing her Iron Heart suit.
Her suit, yeah.
But it's really cool now that the universe is so well established in Marvel that honestly, and this is what I always think about, man. If they threw the Eternals at you 10 years ago, there's just no way. Yeah. I've said this before. Yeah. When they put Guardians out, I'm like, man, that's a risk. Nobody knows who the Guardians of the Galaxy are. Now one of the most beloved.
No, it's true.
So I love that they're doing this. I think that Disney Plus is a godsend where they can make shows now. I mean, they can live off this for 50 years if they really wanted to, and they're probably going to. So it's just exciting.
Yeah, no, for sure. It is very exciting. And we'll talk a bit more about the Guardians in a bit. We got one more trailer to talk about. You did mention again, it seems like the Eternals, it's Salma Hayek's character. It seems to be bringing them all back together. And it seems that, the blip, whatever the energy that was necessary to bring everyone back, also brought back Disrupted. The deviants. That seems to be the plot or the basic gist of it.
So question for you. Do you think we'll get a classic double cross by one of the Eternals? Do you think one of them will turn bad? Yeah, I do too. I don't.
Not necessarily bad, but definitely where they're going to put their own wants and desires ahead of the team and possibly the greater good.
It's funny if you want a really like 7 degrees to Kevin Bacon type scenario here. If Angelina Jolie does turn out to be Thanos' mother, and she's upset that her son was killed, she also played another angry mother in Beowulf, where her son was killed.
So
that would be the exact same plot of another movie she was in. It was actually quite good. Too far ahead of its time, Beowulf. But I think it was Grendel. I think Grendel's the bad guy's name in that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Is it one of those things where every time one of her fictional children dies, she adopts another one?
In real life.
In real life.
Yeah.
In real life. So.
I mean, to give her some credit, this is amazing. Total side quest here, if you will. But Angelina Jolie just joined Instagram, and the only thing she's posting are women that are in trouble in Afghanistan. Like, that's the type of person she is, though. She's dedicated her entire Instagram presence to talking about women that are being threatened in Afghanistan. So she is. We don't deserve her. I'll say that right now. And by the way, she hasn't been in film in a long time on camera.
She took a break. Yeah.
She retired. So this, I remember her retiring. This brought her back. She's been behind the camera a lot. I know she's been directing and producing, but for her to come on camera, that's a big deal. I should mention that.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, fantastic. Welcome, Mike the Bite. A few other folks popping up in chat. Moving on now to our next trailer. Sticking with Disney. Star Wars Visions. This is the best way to describe it is, I don't know if you folks saw years ago during the Nolan Batman trilogy, they did a thing called Gotham Knight, which was 6 anime style Batman shorts. And Star Wars Visions, which is going to be a bigger thing. It's going to be like a full blown series. To my knowledge, it's basically doing the same thing where it's different takes on the Star Wars universe, telling different stories in the Star Wars universe via different styles of anime. And honestly, it looks amazing. Like I honestly can't wait for it. It just looks so good. We saw Sith Lords, we saw Jedi, we saw blaster bolts being frozen in midair by like Kylo Ren. Like it just was chock full of action. But obviously, this initial trailer was to show off the amazing art style that is going to be basically Star Wars anime in this Vision series. And I, for one, we cannot wait. We talk about it all the time. Cannot wait for Star Wars season. And the fact that we got a trailer now means Visions is not far off in our future.
Right. Look, I'm obviously superbly excited about this. Let me tell you why I love the trailer. What I loved about the trailer. Number one is the information they give you, the sources. They went to 6 legendary anime directors, creators. They went to the source. Number one, they didn't just give this to people at Disney. They gave this to people that are truly into anime and truly into Star Wars, which is a win. Number two, the entire trailer was in Japanese, which is awesome. It's exactly the way it should be, mixed with some Star Wars dubstep and orchestra. All right. If you weren't excited to watch this before the trailer, you were after the trailer. And it looks like it's going to be very bite-sized one-off stories. And look, the Star Wars community has been asking for this for decades. I remember that someone had made a original Star Wars kind of like original trilogy anime open that did unbelievable online, went completely viral very quickly. So this has just been a long time coming. Good on the people at Disney for just recognizing it and saying, hey, we can do this. People will watch it. I don't know what kind of the reception it's going to get. The question that I have that has not been answered, are we getting anime that is full out rated R, PG-13 style, or are we going to have it like Bad Batch level where no one dies at the end? My guess is going to be somewhere in between. Again, it is Star Wars. Star Wars is for the younger audience. We always got to remember that, and for us. But I have a feeling it's going to be true anime where people can die and things can happen.
I think it'll skew a little older just because of the anime style. Yeah.
Right. So I got to bring up one more thing while we're on Star Wars. I read this great post today that was like potential canon things or things that need to be made canon in Star Wars. And if you don't mind, I just because we would do this anyway. I'd love to share a few with you because these are things that are like, that just totally makes it better. You know what I mean? So I'll give you a great example. All right. Like one of the first ones that makes total sense was like, this is a simple one, was that Palpatine, Sheev Palpatine, I like saying his first name, was implanting the nightmares into Anakin of his wife dying to screw him up. It's a great, simple one, right? That's a simple one. It makes sense, right? You don't need it, but it's a good one. Here's one that I thought was really good. All right. Was that Obi-Wan has healing powers that he keeps quiet, doesn't let anybody know. If you think about it, in episode 4, when Luke gets knocked out by a sand person's stick, remember he touches him on the head to wake him up. He heals him, right? And then in episode 3, this is what I loved. In episode 3, when Anakin chokes Padme, right? The way this was written was like he killed her. And then Obi-Wan, if you remember, he puts his hand on her head just like Luke and kind of revives her a bit or brings her back to life. And the canon was he gave her just enough life to survive, but that's also why she ended up dying because she was dead already. He couldn't fully revive her. And then the cool part was just to twist it more. When Anakin becomes Vader in that scene, he goes, "She was alive. I felt her." Right? I was just like, that's so dark and awesome and makes a lot of sense. That he actually did kill her. I love stuff like that. I love stuff that makes it better, right? The other ones, just real quick ones, were that Palpatine's face was always destroyed and that he's horrible looking and he was hiding that as the like
a Force illusion or something.
Right. So and when Anakin or when Mace Windu was doing that, just came off.
Right.
There were a lot.
He lost his concentration to use the light. He had to focus on doing the lightning, so he dropped the illusion.
Right.
I like that idea.
Yeah, it makes more sense than him just turning that way.
Lightning would morph from.
And the other one was that Luke's second lightsaber is Qui-Gon's kyber crystal, which would be cool too.
Oh, the green, how he gets the green, because that's the story we never really get. Right. We never find out how Luke gets his kyber crystal.
No,
that's a story I would love to know.
The idea was that the way they described this, like how to get it, was that Ben Kenobi, Obi-Wan, took it after Qui-Gon died, had it in his hut, and Luke went back there to gab stuff, and he found it, which is great. Now again, there's no way they knew that when they were making Empire Strikes Back, but it's a great little that makes a lot of sense. Right. Yeah. So anyway, there was a lot of these little, canon things that I really love. Another last one, I promise. This one they need to make canon just to save something. But it was that, why did Palpatine not come back to episode 9? He was terrified of Luke Skywalker. Makes total sense. He waited a year after Luke's death to show himself, and he created Snoke. So nobody knew he was alive. He went to Exegol, which is shrouded in darkness. So nobody, not even Yoda, could see him there.
Could find it.
Right?
Yep.
It makes a lot of sense that's why he wasn't around, because he was terrified of Luke. The other one was Grogu, was that the librarian from the Jedi Temple saves Grogu and then goes back, and Vader, for those who don't know, Vader kills her in the expanded universe, right? But she's the one. So there's all these great little stories that I hope that they do. If you're a Star Wars fan, man, they were brilliant. But yes, Star Wars Visions. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yes.
So I had
a couple of comments
they were good.
Yeah, a couple of comments in chat. Everybody, it seems to be pretty likes those expanded ideas. Darkstroke also mentions though Star Wars Visions is like Bad Batch. It would be very disappointing.
Yeah, I don't think it will be. I think it's going to be PG-13.
Yeah.
That's my guess. I mean, look,
there's
no way you can do anime. I mean, they show the lightsabers like katanas. I mean, if it's not someone dying, I mean, it's not gonna be gruesome, right?
But, you're not gonna see like tons of blood and gore, but you'll see. I think you can definitely see like, I mean, at least some severed limbs,
right?
For sure. Like, I think somebody's gonna lose at least an arm. But
Ray,
we'll see what happens.
You'll like this last one, right? One said that C-3PO is more of a Skywalker than Ray because he lost an arm.
There you go.
Limb. Yeah. And then the last one.
That's right. He loses lots of limbs, actually.
The last one too, which I thought was funny, was that there's a lot of people named Skywalker on Tatooine because and they made this great point of like, did Vader not realize that there was a Luke Skywalker living on Tatooine?
Yeah.
There's just a lot.
It's the Smith of the galaxy. Right. Skywalker is the Smith of the galaxy.
There you go. And that's why Ray gets away with it too. Anyway, that was I had to share those because I read those. I'm like, these are really pretty good.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. They're kind of like a what if scenario, and that takes us into our next topic, which of course is what if episode 2, as we wrap up our Disney segment of the week. What if episode 2, of course, this is the one where what if T'Challa was the one taken by the Ravagers and becomes Star-Lord, and episode 1 was good, but episode 2 was even better, like way better. In my opinion. Of course, the final performance of Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace, Wakanda forever. But he did phenomenal. I mean, I think this also shows that like, to me, T'Challa is just such a much more likable character. And they did this whole thing where he basically kind of a nature versus nurture thing where, because he's taken at a bit of an older age, they abduct him when he's like 8 or 9. He has the morals of a Wakandan leader, and he kind of like reforms the Ravagers and reforms a lot of other folks in the galaxy, by the way. And the whole galaxy is better because of T'Challa going off to space and Peter Quill being a bum that works at a Dairy Queen. So this was a fun universe. Again, spoilers. The big surprise for me is that he even reformed Thanos. He prevented Thanos from doing the snap, and there was a running gag where they keep trying to explain to him, Thanos, dude, it would have been genocide if you had done that. Like, you did the right thing. He's like, but he's like, but it's Josh Brolin. It would have been efficient. No, I love this episode. I thought it was fantastic. I'm much more excited for the continuation of this series now after episode 2.
Yeah, no, I don't have much more to say on it, Ray. And again, you guys can watch it with us if you want on streamlounge.io. You can watch the replay of Ray and I watching it live. But it was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal episode. It felt good until the very, very end. But you felt good. It was funny. It was really funny. A lot of characters were revived in it. The comic relief was there. I mean, it went quick and it was good. Again, you got to see Proxima Midnight. You got to see Thanos, as you said. You got to see a lot of characters. Nebula without a lot of the enhancements was a pretty cool one to see, but
yes,
it was fun. It's fun seeing Thanos not as the Thanos we know him as. I hope they explore that more in the future.
And the Collector was the big bad, and he was the legitimate threat. Yeah, and not only that, but in this universe, in this timeline, it looks like the Collector killed the Avengers because he had Mjolnir, he had Hela's helmet, he had the Cap's shield. Which is kind of crazy to think that there might not be an Avengers in this particular universe. So
they weren't needed.
He was a legitimate threat.
Yeah, they weren't needed. And then the episode ends, again, spoiler, with Ego coming to get Peter Quill. And like I said, in that scenario, Quill probably joins him and becomes a bad guy. Yeah. So it's pretty good. So interesting to see where that goes. Probably a season 2 storyline, but great one. And again, we talked about this. We know the remaining stories right now are Marvel Zombies. What if Gamora became Thanos? What if Ultron took Vision's body? That's 3, 4. There's one more I'm forgetting here that is in the post.
And Spider-Man getting levitation cloak.
Yeah. So then I think that's it for the season. And we know that obviously Loki and other characters are going to show up in some of these. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. Matt asks in chat if one of the daggers in his collection was Gamora's. It might have been. The thing
I
is
thought
that
they were. I thought they were. No, Drax is in it, so it's not Drax's.
Korg
was in this kind of.
Yeah, Korg's severed arm. So I mean, I wonder, because Gamora, I imagine in this universe, I mean, if Nebula's good, Thanos is reformed, Gamora might not have become Gamora.
Yeah,
those could have just have been daggers. Like, yeah, there's you don't know. So, but yeah, so that's a what if. That's what if going on. You know, another what if, which is interesting. This is going into the real world science now as we transition. This is you know, I guess Elon Musk asks a lot. What if? Because he keeps making some stuff really great, and now some stuff where I'm like, dude, you are just trying to spell the end of humanity. I think he is building robots, Tesla bots specifically. And there hasn't been literally dozens of sci-fi movies that tell us that when robots start getting made, that androids start getting made,
this one's gonna work.
Yeah, this is the one. He's gonna put the failsafe in. You know what's gonna happen? He's gonna go to Mars. He's gonna leave all his robots here. He's gonna have his robots take over Earth, and then he's gonna come back with what's left of whatever he does on Mars. This is. Look, there is a lot of great things going on in science right now, folks. Like legitimately, like we might have a vaccine for HIV. We've got new cancer treatments coming out, all this other stuff. Like there's some great things going on in science right now. This is not one of them. This is bad news. This to me has bad news written all over it. Bad Elon Musk. Bad. Somebody put him back in his spaceship.
I'm waiting to hear more about what this is. I don't think we really know what he's doing. I do know that Elon Musk, Ray, is working on a chip that is implanted in the brain. This is not a joke, by the way. He's working on a chip that will be implanted in your brain that will give you access basically to the internet and stuff like that. And I'm thinking,
if you don't listen to Amanda Waller, your head explodes.
Well, this is what I think he's doing. I think and I'm trying to think like Elon Musk does, which no one can do. But it's like, all right, what's softer, putting something in someone's skull or making a robot that can show you how awesome it is first? That's the one you go with. So I'm interested to see what more about this. Look, here's the deal. Robots, androids, they're inevitable. They are going to happen. It just comes out to what are they going to look like? I mean, and look, to be fair, because I think the news is running with this. Maybe he's making a crew to go to Mars with them. I'm being serious. Like maybe he's making a robotic crew to go with them.
That would be fine.
Yeah,
that would be fine. Take your robots to Mars.
Right.
Go ahead.
I just don't think that we're randomly going to get a Tesla bot tomorrow that's going to show up and be like, oh, okay. I will say too that Bicentennial Man was a good movie, and that was a good robot, but it's because it had the heart of Robin Williams.
Yes.
And I would take that. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Listen, he is an innovator. I'm not against Elon Musk. A lot of people are. I'm not against him. I think he's actually bettered humanity more than made it worse. So we'll see. We'll see. I will always say that we will see. But I am not against all of the entrepreneurs of business that are creating a space race or trying to go to Mars or trying to better humanity. I think we don't celebrate success enough here. I also think that, yes, they have billions of dollars and they could be spending them in different ways. Like, I'm not against that conversation, but I'm not going to call them horrible people for trying to expand human potential. I don't think that's fair. I think there's more conducive conversations than just pointing a finger and I'm not saying you did this, Ray. I'm just saying there's more conducive conversations than just like, oh, evil Elon. And yeah, he's awkward. He's got Asperger's and he was on SNL. So the trifecta.
And speaking of trifectas, as Matt points out in chat, the robots or androids are one of the big three. But I don't hate Elon at all. I just hate this particular idea.
I tell you, this is not a good plan. You're not happy to be part of it.
Yes, no, I am not. I do not like this plan at all.
I can't wait to come visit you in LA. I'm like, Ray, Tesla. Hello, Lee. Good to have you here. Please don't speak to me, Tesla. Never mind him. He's short a cup of coffee. I don't drink coffee. Shut up! You arguing with the robot.
Yeah, I would probably be arguing with the robot.
Oh, you would totally argue with the robot. Wait, it's only weird until you give it a name. If it's Tesla bot or whatever bot, SpaceX bot, it's if you start calling it Carl, then it's weird. No, but it's an acronym. I don't care. I'm not calling that thing Carl. You got to give it a cool name. Thanos. Yeah. Thanos, get over here.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta do. I am
This is my robot Thanos. Yeah, I'm sure that will.
What are you gonna do? You can it's like Alexa. You can give it like Samuel L. Jackson's voice. No, I don't want to get you a cup of coffee, and I'm mad as hell. You can just totally see him doing that.
Yes. Oh goodness. So moving on now to one of my favorite subjects, of course, going back to trailers. A lot of trailers again. We mentioned at the top of the show this week. Yes, the first big one is the Pokemon Arceus trailer, which of course is the prequel to the entire Pokemon universe.
Is it Arceus or Arceus? Is it Arceus?
I thought it was Arceus. I'm not
sure. I read it as Arceus,
but...
so we'll find out. Tune in to episode 125.
It's one of those words that we have here in sci-fi that you really don't know how to say it until you hear somebody else say it like that.
Elias.
Like the yes, thank you. I wasn't even trying it this
Elias.
Time.
To be fair, Alioth. I was joking with myself the other day. I was like, Alioth is from the Lord of the Rings universe. Marvel, it would be Elias. Alioth is a cool name for something from Lord of the Rings, though.
Yes. See, it is Arceus. And now Matt says they pronounce Arceus. so we have chat is arguing now.
Nobody
knows. Is arguing the same exact thing that we just were here in.
Caitlin probably looked it up, though, to be fair. I know Caitlin, she wouldn't have written that unless she Googled it. And if she did, shame on you, Caitlin, producer.
Yes. But anyway, so the new Pokemon, or I'm going to say Arceus, Pokemon Arceus trailer would drop this week. And it is a big deal because, again, I'm calling it Generation Zero. Because, again, this is where the first Pokemon trainers emerge and they start capturing and training wild Pokemon in what really amounts to feudal Japan.
Is this a game or a movie?
It's a game.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
It's a game that's coming out in January, and they're already showing off new Pokemon, which again, to me, once you introduce new Pokemon, it is officially a new generation. You don't want to call it Generation 9. That makes sense because of the timeline.
Well, so I can't go forward, go backwards. So is Mew in it?
You got to call it You got to call it Gen Zero.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Is Mew in this trailer, or is Mew going to be developed in the trailer? Probably.
We don't know. We don't know what it is, but they did show off. They showed off a new variation, a new feudal Japan version of Growlithe, which looks phenomenal. And also new Basculin gets an evolution for the first time into a ghost water type.
How much you want to bet they pull off a Noah's Ark thing at the end where like not all of them can come on the Ark?
I mean, that would be one way to describe why suddenly we haven't seen some of these Pokemon.
Biblical.
Yeah. Because I mean, only a few hundred years is a lot for evolution, but I guess evolution happens very rapidly in the Pokemon world. So
yes, you can say that based on the last 30 years of our lives. 25.
So 25 years. But yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I think anything is
it's a cool story.
It's an open world Pokemon game. I think this is exactly what folks have been begging for a long time. And I think going back to the origins of the Pokemon universe is a really neat idea because it's so far back that it doesn't have to influence too much stuff.
Well, look, I'm going to tie this a little bit to Star Wars without going back into Star Wars, right? We forget that Star Wars only really talks about a 40, 50-year period. The Jedi and the Sith have been around for thousands of generations, not just years, right? So it's like we're finally starting to explore that a bit, probably in the anime and some of the other shows that are coming out, while also maintaining the current timeline. All right, with Pokemon, look, Pokemon isn't going anywhere. So this is cool that they're doing this. I'm desperately trying to get my son to play the card game with me, but for some reason he's just not done it yet, although he knows everything about every card. It's really, really weird, Ray, that he knows all this stuff, but he won't play the game.
He likes to collect. He just likes to collect. That's fine. There's some Pokemon trainers that just like to collect and not like the battle.
There's no pressure. All right. I like the battle. I'm 1-1.
Yes.
I'd like to keep it better than that. So anyway, from Caitlin Reese in chat, our producer, she says, so its official pronunciation is Arceus, but they also say Arceus in the show. And then there was a promotional trailer that said Arceus. And then I said Arceus.
So even Nintendo is inconsistent with their pronunciations.
Yes.
So
you decide.
So we will. Yeah, you can choose how we get it. We'll know what you're talking about when you say Pokemon Arceus or Arceus or Arceus or Arceus.
I want to pronounce Arceus.
Yeah. So there's that one. You mentioned battling, Lee. Actually, speaking of battling, another big trailer that just dropped this week, the first trailer for it's starting to become Call of Duty season.
Yeah.
Call of Duty announced their new game, Call of Duty Vanguard, which will drop in November, first week of November, like every other Call of Duty.
Played for a hockey team called the Vanguards once.
Oh, there you go.
I was, yeah, it was a weird name. Although my high school was called the Ford, it's like the car. So I guess it's not that weird. Haverford Ford. Yeah, the Haverford Fords was my team name. If that wasn't bad enough, Ray, there was a private school called the Haverford School, who were also called the Fords, where we often played each other in the same league, which makes none of this makes any sense.
The
and then
Fords
you think
versus
like,
the Fords.
You had the Haverford Fords versus the Haverford Fords. That happened, right? And then you had the Vanguards, right? I just, it was a lot of weird high school names in this area.
Well,
that's been your side note, brought to you by Jiffy Peanut Butter. Jiffy, we make peanut butter.
I'll take them as a sponsor too. I like that.
Do it in there.
Yeah, I get the super chunky kind.
I do too, man.
Anyway.
I love the chunky peanut butter. All right, let us know what you like.
Too.
But we want to know.
Yeah, let us know.
Actually, you think.
Smooth or chunky, folks.
Smooth or chunky.
With your peanut butter.
There's no wrong answer. I prefer chunky. I think it's a better experience. For those of you allergic to peanuts, I really do feel for you. It's not a joke. I'm sorry that you can't experience that the same way we can without dying. We're getting massive highs. It's not fair. It's not right. And I'm here with you. We stand with you, people allergic to peanut butter. Anyway,
as I eat my peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
There you go. I had that for lunch today. Two of my best friends.
Yeah.
Did we just become best friends?
Yes, we've been best friends. But yeah, actually, I don't have jelly. I don't have grape jelly. I use strawberry jam. I'm a big strawberry jam guy.
Strawberry. I'm just like you. I'm grape jelly preferable, but I'll do strawberry. Strawberry works with peanut butter. It's just you gotta mentally prepare yourself to it not to be the grape. Right. There's nothing worse than when like you get something and you're like, oh, it's going to taste like this. And then it doesn't. It ruins the whole meal. For example, any hamburger in England, nothing. I bit into that thing. I was like, this is horrible. And the thing is, maybe it wasn't horrible. Maybe it wasn't horrible. Yeah, Matt, to be fair, Matt's in England. All right. Maybe it wasn't horrible. Just to an American's taste buds, it was. Just like I'm sure, Matt, when you come here and they put the food in front of you and you're like, why are there 6 servings? I'm like, no, that's just an American 1 serving. We like foods.
Why is everything edible here?
Right. Why do you eat dessert for breakfast in America, which we do? Waffles in England are a dessert, not a breakfast.
Yeah. Well, to be fair though, that's actually a very Italian thing because the Italians are very big on pastries and donuts and whatnot, and French too, actually, for breakfast, croissants and whatnot.
Yes.
So it is a Western European thing as well, and so that probably also influenced a lot of America.
I'll tell you this. The one thing I wish we did, and Ray, you're going to totally agree with this. You're totally going to agree with this being an Italian. All right. The one thing that I wish we did here that Europe has kind of championed. That's England not so much. That too. I think naps are actually very important when you can take them. I think they're super underrated. And I think that if it can clear your head and make you feel better. By the way, I love that the guy who hasn't slept in 26 hours is talking about naps right now. Hilarious.
I need a nap so bad.
The one thing I think I would love to, and I've kind of actually done this a little bit, but I love that in France and Italy and other European countries, Spain, you go to the market daily to get your food. Like, I like that. You'll go to the market to get the meals for that day. It's not like you go to this big Acme or Quick Check or whatever.
Everything's fresh.
Yeah, I just like that. And that's one of the reasons I do HelloFresh is because everything really is fresh. It comes in and it's like it's right there. But I also live across the street from a supermarket and I go all the time. I probably once a day. I mean, on average.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 times a week. And I remember my mother was like, "Oh, what did you say? You're going so much." I'm like, "It's a walk across the street. It's convenient."
Yeah.
It's if I had to drive there, it would be different.
It's good for it.
Yeah. All right. But it's convenient. I like it. It's fun to get out of the house. So I just wish, here we stock up food like like it's the Great Depression. That's probably when it started.
Yeah. I mean, and that too, like you say, like how many people are within walking distance of a grocery store? Like you and me, my closest grocery store is 2 miles away. That's not terribly far. Right. But if I was walking that and then walking back with it, that would be to do that every day would be a bit much.
And by the way, I have no idea how we got from Call of Duty to this, but we did. We're gonna go back to Call of Duty. Matt,
you mentioned your hockey team, the Vanguards, you were the Fords, and you played the Vanguards.
Blame me about it. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. Matt, wanted to know how we got here, and I put the timeline.
We're getting back in a swing. This is good. This is one of our better shows.
I am Kang the Conqueror. I put the timeline back together for you.
Means we kill you later on. Anyway, Matt says we didn't have any decent burger places when you were in the UK, but we do have now some good burger and steak places.
We'll be the judge of that, Matt.
Yeah, well, Matt, I may be in the UK. I may be in the UK soon. It's possible. I'll tell you that right now. And if I am, I will have you take me to some said good burger and steak places. And if I don't, I will be very upset. I'll buy maybe because the pound to dollar thing. We'll see.
Also, there's some great steak places here in LA. Actually, that's one. We have some great meat here in LA. Sushi and burgers and all that stuff. Great stuff here in LA. No good Italian food. Burgers and ramen and sushi.
Yeah, great ramen.
Great ramen here too. Yeah. Because obviously we're one of the closest cities to Japan. We have a lot of Japanese folks who have come here. We have our little Tokyo,
right,
world renowned in LA, and it's absolutely amazing. So
and then Matt also, I'll let you do this, right? Matt has done way deeper research than any of us on this Arceus, whatever we're calling it. I'll let you read that, but Matt, good job. Matt went to Bulbapedia. I can't even say that. And so this will be the last note on it, though. We can't stay on this. I'll read it. It says Arceus is an amalgam of Archon, Arcanus, and Deus Zeus, which would indicate a sharper K sound on the C. So I don't even know what that means, but I'm just going to say
we're just going to take your word for it, Matt. Yeah. Good job, Matt. A for extra.
You are the font on today's show. You are today's font.
Yes. So again, Call of Duty Vanguard trailer dropped this week. And I guess speaking of England, we can mention this is going back to World War II. And actually kind of taking a page out of Battlefield 1 a few years ago from EA. This is going to be more of a bunch of smaller vignettes. You're going to play multiple characters at different times of the war, it sounds like. And that's going to be something different. It's interesting because it kind of just shows that Call of Duty is running out of ideas, in my opinion. But it looks good. It looks good as always. Call of Duty plays very, very well. But is it going to be worth another $60 to $70? That is the question. I generally don't know at this point. But it's always good to hear. I think the World War II setting is always the old feel good thing that you can go back to whenever you are struggling for new ideas. It's being made by Sledgehammer Games this time, although Treyarch is also including a zombie mode, which is a big deal for the fans of zombies. Zombies has become a huge selling point for Call of Duty in recent years, and they are thrilled. I've heard a lot of fans are already thrilled at how this is going to continue the zombie stuff. So it's going to be fantastic. Other video game trailers. NHL 22 dropped a trailer. And
it looked great. Trailer looks great.
Well, finally, about 5 years ago, FIFA moved away from the Ignite engine, which was the engine that was going to be used by all the sports games for EA, and it went just to Frostbite. Frostbite is now EA's primary engine, much like Anvil is for Ubisoft. Epic is, or Unreal is for Epic, and a lot of other places out there. Like you're seeing a consolidation of a lot of companies where they're like, why are we going to have a different engine for all our games?
Stupid.
After FIFA did that, Madden the very next year did that. NHL, as usual, is about 5 years behind the curve, and they finally dropped Ignite for the new generation and moved over to Frostbite. That's why the game looks so good.
It does look beautiful. I will just taking this one thing at a time. The trailer was beautiful. It does look beautiful. I will not harp them on that.
Yeah, no, it looks great, and they've added some things actually from Madden where like there's some extra special qualities that in certain scenarios will unlock for different players, whether it's increasing your sniper ability or like kind of like a slinky spine for goaltenders where you can be extra flexible and make some amazing saves. We'll probably get more of that as time goes on, especially this coming week. Expect a lot of video game news this coming week with Gamescom officially happening starting on Wednesday.
Don't
so
forget
we'll
PAX.
Get a lot of trailer drops.
I wish we were there. I really mean that, but yeah.
I wish we were there too. It's a shame that the show is it's gonna be a shell of its typical self.
It's true.
That's a different story. But Gamescom all digital. Gamescom is all digital, so you're gonna get just a dump of trailers, a dump truck full of trailers, probably on Wednesday and Thursday of this week. But NHL 22, Austin Matthews is the cover athlete, so just like him, he'll probably be mediocre.
Well, I guess 2 times in 3 years. Outside Tom Brady, I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, you don't usually get that, and I'm a little disappointed because the rumors were the 3 supposed finalists actually were Pasternak of the Bruins,
right,
and Panarin or Fox of the Rangers. Obviously, I'm pretty sure a New York Ranger has never been on the cover of NHL. So
the only one that would have done it is Messier, and I don't think he ever was.
No, Messier was never a cover athlete. There were former Rangers like Van Beesbrook was on it, but he was a Panther 96. When he was there.
He was on 96. Yeah. I know Lundqvist was on 2000 and 97.
When he was a Flyer, right? Yeah. But that's the thing is you had guys
98. I'm looking at 98 right now.
Yeah, you never had a Ranger. Again, original 6 club, and it's just kind of like,
they could have done Yager or Drury. They could have pulled that one off. I don't know why they didn't.
They could have done a lot of different. I get, last year they just did Ovechkin, so you can't do it again. But it's just like, screw you, EA. Like, honestly, who cares about Austin Matthews and his stupid mustache? Like, he's just gonna choke in the first round of the playoffs again. Like,
well, look, this is based off of the audience that's buying it, obviously. He's a very, very popular player amongst the younger audience. What I don't understand is that, are people buying physical copies of this? Why didn't you just adopt what you did on other games and have multiple people on the cover? I don't even know if cover athletes matters that much anymore. I know there's a lot of money
as physical copies sell less and less and digital sell more and more.
I honestly don't know why they have team editions and you get a player from every single team and why that's a problem. I don't know why that's not happening. By the way,
put the captain from every team out there,
something like that. Not to mention you have a new team coming in the league this year. That was an opportunity that probably got missed.
Yeah, they did show off a little bit of the Kraken, because they couldn't do it for some reason. They couldn't do it last year. The logo was revealed and all that other stuff.
By the way, I'm searching for hockey.
They've gotten lazy. They've gotten lazy at EA Vancouver.
It's possible.
Katelynn, the cover jinx that you're talking about in chat is for Madden. By the way, Madden has the cover jinx.
Oh no, there's one in the NHL too. So the NHL cover jinx, it's not injury though. It's they don't get past the first round of the playoffs typically. Only one cover athlete has ever won the Stanley Cup, and it was Patrick Kane. That was like the year they did Taves and Kane back to back. That was a good chance.
Yeah,
but no, the cover athlete typically never gets past anything. Right. So I'm looking at this. I did search for athletes on covers from the Rangers. I'm seeing one with Lundqvist, but I don't know if it's real. And I do remember there was one year they had multiple people, you know what I mean? But I don't know if Lundqvist was
maybe a European version had Lundqvist, but here in the States,
that's another one that you could have done.
Never had a Ranger.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think so. I think you're right. And like I said, Lundqvist was one they could have done for sure. They don't put enough goalies on the front. But I think Brodeur was the last one they did.
It was basically the only goalies they've had on their history was Van Beesbrook in '96 and Brodeur in 2010.
Yeah, something like that. So look, here's the deal with this game. It's like all games for me is I'm very exhausted with the NHL franchise. The problem I have is that, and feel free to debate me on this, audience, is I've played and coached and I've been involved with real hockey my whole life, and the gaming experience just does not satisfy my itch. I do not feel like playing GM in a video game. I'm not knocking anyone that does. All right. But it's like, and Ray, you can tell me if I'm being a little big headed here. I don't think I am. I've done that in real life. So I don't want to do it in a video game. I don't mean that in any kind of dick way. It's just like,
I understand why that doesn't appeal to you, but for again,
totally get why people do it. Totally.
Yeah, for those of us who will never have that opportunity,
I totally get that.
Who love the ideal of wheeling and dealing and rebuilding our favorite teams. Yeah, it is
totally,
it is for me.
Totally in favor of that. Yeah. I don't want you to think I'm bashing the mode. I'm just saying for myself personally. And then it comes down to the gameplay. And like, I don't like playing NHL games online. And I'll tell you why. It's because it becomes a video game. And what I mean by that is that
you find the bugs.
Yeah, it's not hockey to me. And like, if I'm playing a hockey game, I want to play hockey. And then when I play the non-online version of it, it gets boring very quickly. So again, look, it's not for me, but all the hockey fans out there, all the EA Sports fans out there, if you love the game, that's great. I really mean that. But I imagine for me, it's a little bit like Flight Simulator. Like when people ask pilots, like, is Flight Simulator like really flying? And every pilot in the world's like, it's nothing like real flying. Nothing at all.
Yeah.
That's how I look at the NHL game. So I'll tell you what game I do like playing. I love playing the NHL 94 Rewind. That was a lot of fun. I dare I say even more realistic than the NHL games are. All right. I had a lot of fun with that version. But I don't know. I could see myself playing NHL 22 with you for like an afternoon just to mess around with it. It's just not something I want to invest a lot of time into. Gonna just say this one more time. I am not judging anyone that puts a lot of time into any EA Sports game for that matter. This one's just not for me. I enjoy the other games that I've been playing. And like I said, I'm a 4 to 5 title a year guy. That's who I am.
Yeah.
And I don't think.
And by the way, hey, if EA, if you're somehow listening to this and you want to change our minds, put your money where your mouth is and send us some review codes.
They won't. I'm challenging right now. They won't because they're cheap like that. We would have loved that. Really, our opinion actually matters.
I'm just saying, we got thousands of people on Facebook, thousands of people here on Twitch, thousands of people on TikTok, and
not from you. I'm going to read this from Matt Cavalieri online. Makes some great points here. So he says, I used to love playing those games in the early 90s, early 2000s. Matt, I did too. NHL 2002 to this day is one of my favorite versions of the game. But the experience is increasingly frustrating for people who only play occasionally. 100% agree. If you get past that learning curve and play somebody that's not there yet, it's a horrible experience because they're picking up the puck in midair, doing the Michigan play 10 times a game, which is not fun. Matt also says, if I have an itch to manage hockey team, and I agree with him on this, Ray. I play Eastside Hockey Manager on Steam. I put many hours in that thing, and the community is rich. That's a great point. There is a hockey manager game that I've played that game too, believe it or not. That's a lot of fun.
Never even heard of it.
No, it's very popular within the hockey sphere. It's very much just GM mode though. There's no playing or anything like that. All right, so it's super in depth if you really love those numbers. And again, I've seen that. I would say this, Ray, that's far more realistic from a GM standpoint, although it's not close, but it's far more realistic than what EA puts out every year.
That's fair.
Again, I've never sent a player a message of like, if you don't perform tonight.
Oh God, the be a pro mode in NHL is terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Whoever wrote that should be ashamed of themselves. I mean that.
Yeah, it's pathetic.
Matt,
honestly.
That's a great comments, by the way, Matt. Thanks for putting that in chat. And if you're at home listening to this, feel free to comment on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, wherever you're seeing this. We got several communities, or the Geeks Who Like Sports community on Facebook, which is very rich and very active lately. That's been a great audience.
Yes. For sure. So moving on from video games to sports, and it's an easy transition this week because we go from video game hockey to real hockey. Some folks have been, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to say it. I think they're a little too much traditionalists when it comes to this.
Sure. This one's dumb to me that people are having
people complaining that the NHL is going to be adding some advertisements to their jerseys the coming season to, again, as we've talked about here many times in the show, to, of course, help recoup revenue lost during the pandemic. But also this is something that's been going on for a lot of sports have been doing this for years. Basketball does it. Soccer does it. NASCAR does it. I think I don't have an issue with hockey doing it, especially because it's only going to probably be one ad probably per jersey, and it's going to be probably small on one of the upper pectorals or near the shoulder. So it's kind of, I don't know, hockey traditionalists, get over yourself. That's my opinion on it. Like, I don't think this is a big deal.
So a few things on this. One, I think Americans need to remember we're one of the only countries that hadn't been doing stuff like this. Every other league, except for the KHL, I believe, does this. Yeah. All right. Number one. Number two, Ray, it's a very interesting time for this to be happening. I interviewed, you don't even know this. I interviewed the owner of the Florida Panthers a couple of days ago, Doug Seafood. And I brought this up because it was the same thing of like, I'm right with you, Ray. Like, I don't know why people are going crazy. And I said, hey, look, can you give an ownership point of view on this? Because I don't think people realized how much money professional sports leagues have been losing over the last couple of years. And he affirmed what you and I have been preaching. So anybody who's against us on this, now I have it from the source. And if you think this guy's lying, there's no convincing you at this point. He said, yeah, we've been losing money for a while, that we've lose money, right? In the NHL, we're one of the bottom franchises in the NHL in terms of revenue. Then he said this, quote, over the last year and a half, we have lost an ungodly amount of money. He goes, everyone has, the entire league, right?
Yeah.
So for anyone who's got a problem with ads on jerseys, turn your thought process a different way. They need to do this to make up the revenue. Survive. Okay. Yeah. They could sell out every game for the next few years. They will not make up the money they've lost. All right. They need to find new ways. They're doing it. They did the helmets last year. Didn't bother me at all. The NBA's been doing this for a few years. Doesn't bother me at all. If anything, it's going to endear you to the sponsor, which is exactly the point. All right. These sponsorships do work. Some of them are a little questionable by who people put on their helmets. All right. I don't know why Wawa is not sponsoring the Flyers and Sheetz is not doing it with the Penguins. I mean, it's an obvious one. But my point to you is this. All right.
Vermanti Brothers over in Pittsburgh.
Right. Yeah. It's prime real estate. They need to make the money back. I like, if you really care about the sport, this is not going to be a problem to you. And I'll be honest with you. I don't care if they go full European and have 50 ads on the jersey. I mean, I don't want that, but if that's what they need to do to keep hockey going, then fine. I've been affiliated with a team. Matt's affiliated with a team. They have several ads on the jersey. And when they talk about the team, they don't just say the Phantoms. They say the Peterborough BMW Phantoms or whatever it is, right? They say the brand name. And guess what? It doesn't change how anybody plays at all.
Yeah.
All right. I'm a little bit against, like, I wouldn't put that on the Stanley Cup, like the Wawa Philadelphia Flyers. All right. But
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Matt says cutting edge journalism. Damn right. That's what we do here on Geeks Who Like Sports / Our Kids Play Hockey / Win Championship Trades for Life / whatever the other podcast is that I do. Life after the military.
Does your boy Doug there at the Florida Panthers need like a play-by-play guy or anything? Just
I could connect you. Ray, you'd hate Florida. It's hot. There's beaches. There's sun.
I hate Florida, but I would really love a play-by-play job.
I could already see how this ends up. Florida man fired by Florida Panthers after talking how much Florida sucks.
Yeah.
No, Sycamore BMW Phantoms. That's what they're called up in.
I'm just saying, look, maybe I go down to Florida, do the Panthers for a few years. Then maybe when Sam Rosen finally retires, I can come back to New York.
Yeah, no, like just maybe, Ray, like just rounding this out again. I have no problem with sponsors on jerseys or helmets. I do have a problem when sponsors infiltrate championship banners. I don't think their name should be on there.
Yeah, no,
I don't think it should be on the Stanley Cup or any championship trophy. There's lots of reasons I have for that. Like again, I won't name any names, but like I was working with a team one time where the owner's sponsor put their company name on the banner. And I just didn't understand that. I didn't understand that. I understand the affiliation. I get it. But like that wasn't going to go anywhere. I always thought that was a little weird. But yeah, it can't. Get over it. Come on, guys. This has been through a pandemic, and I'm going to say this: quote, lost an ungodly amount of money. Give them a break.
Yeah, no. Could you imagine the Motorola Prince of Wales trophy? Like, yeah, no, don't do that. Like,
that'd be so funny.
Yeah, it'd be funny, and then be like, oh, this is terrible. Don't do this again.
No, right?
Oh gosh.
The AEW All Elite MVP goes to. I'm just kidding. Other leagues supporting other leagues. Yeah.
Yeah, we will get to wrestling later. And Matt says he can make me a play-by-play guy for his team, but it doesn't pay anything. That's a non-starter, Matt. I need to make some money, buddy. I'm sorry.
He would do it.
I need to eat and like have a roof over my head.
Just offer him food and a house, Matt, and he'll do it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Talk to Phil Smith, who might have a problem with that. The current play-by-play for the team that he's talking about, who I know. Leverage.
Oh goodness. Still on the hockey topic, and speaking of teams that are struggling, and the Coyotes are homeless now. Glendale.
Well, that's not completely accurate. They'll be homeless in a year.
Yeah. Okay. So they'll be homeless in a year. So they've been given their eviction notice. They are done at their current arena, which actually, from what I understand, and actually talking to some Arizona fans, they're actually happy because they think the arena sucks.
It do. Let me, if I may. So the arena right now is in Glendale, Arizona, which is a very horrible place for an arena to be, because the residential zone of this area is on the other side of Phoenix. So basically you have the residential zone, Phoenix, the city of Phoenix, and then you have Glendale on the other side. So getting to Glendale is a pain in the butt for a lot of hockey fans. So continue, Ray. I'll tell you my thoughts on this.
No, I was just going to say, that's kind of what I've heard too, but please continue. I've heard that because of the geography and location, that there are a lot of Coyote fans in Arizona. They don't like to go to the games though, because of how horrendous it is to get there.
Right. Because so here's the thing: when the Coyotes are good, they sell out their arena. So we do know fans will make the trip, but when they're not good, they don't go. Right. So there's a few things here, Ray. There's a few things about this. So yes, they've been given their eviction notice for 1 year. They have to play this season out. Now, I'll tell you why this is funny that it's getting a lot of press. All right. And I'll also explain why there's another problem with the internet. So the outcomes here are a few, right? One is that they renegotiate their contract and stay in Glendale, which is probably more likely or possible, I should say, than people realize. All right. I'll tell you why about that in a minute. The other scenario is that they can find themselves a new arena closer to the residential side of Arizona or Phoenix, where it'll be easier for people to access the team. Now, I don't think that's going to be possible for multiple reasons. One, it takes a lot longer than 1 year to build an arena. Number one.
Yep.
It takes a lot of money, which they don't have. And it takes a lot of resources, which they don't have. Okay. Building an arena right now would be more expensive than in normal years because of the price of getting materials. Okay. Right. So the reason I am not freaking out about this, aside from it being a year away, is that, Ray, I'm going to surprise you here. This is not the first time a team has been evicted. Another team within the last 10 years, 20 years, 10, 15 years was also evicted from their home, and everybody freaked out. Okay. Now the notice they got was, I think, a 5 or 10 year notice of eviction, believe it or not. All right. But everybody's freaking out that they're going to lose their home. They're going to have to move. All right. And guess what happened? They renegotiated their contract, and they're still where they've always been. All right. Ray, do you know what team that is?
You talking about the Rangers?
The New York Rangers were evicted from Madison Square Garden. Again, they got a 10-year eviction notice, which I thought was really funny.
Right.
But they renegotiated. They're still in Madison Square Garden. That's why I think the most likely scenario.
I was going to say that whole scenario though is like Dolan wanted to try to buy the post office across the street, build a new arena. Like that's got layer upon layer upon layer with the worst owner in sports involved.
Right. Here's the thing. So I think the most likely outcome is that they will renegotiate to stay there for a few more years. Okay. I think another very possible outcome is they relocate to another city. All right. Although I don't think that's going to happen just because they've spent so much resources there. The only other place right now with an NHL arena is Quebec. Right. So it's like, I just think that this is being blown out of proportion. They're not going to close the team up. We'll see what happens. But
I was going to say that, or again, the Kansas City's been vying for a hockey team for forever. The Kansas City Coyotes.
Do they have the space?
Kansas City Coyotes has a good ring to it. There's already a Coyote mascot with the Chiefs.
Yeah, but they have to have the space. Again, there's not a new arena scenario here. The other thing too is like they're not going to build a team in Canada right now because the money. It's far too expensive. Yeah. So the only way they're going to move is if there's an existing arena that's available that can have an NHL capacity that can be easily moved to, right? Yeah. And I don't know if that's the case. So we'll see.
Yeah. So speaking of folks who are moving on, Henrik Lundqvist announced yesterday that he is officially retiring from the NHL. This is not surprising after the last year. He wanted to make one more run at it, but I think he just realized it was not going to be in the cards.
Yeah, he tried.
He tried. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, in the Rangers, I think about like 6 or 7 hours after his announcement, announced that they will retire his number 30 this year.
Hell yeah.
During the season. And it makes perfect sense. It just, yeah, I mean, he goes along with some of the greats in New York history who just never got themselves that championship, but will always be remembered as being integral to the fan base and to the team and to I mean, Henrik's an all-time great. I had an opportunity to meet him. I think it was back in 2008, like many years ago. He was the nicest guy in the world when I was at ESPN. It might have been 2009, but anyway, obviously took us to the Cup in 2014. Has every like Ranger goaltending record, like the heart and soul of this team for over a decade. It is almost, it's not as, I mean, obviously in the modern era, it's easier for me to say, but I know a lot of folks have been saying when he left, it was like Eddie Jacquemin being traded to the Red Wings. It just, it's sad, but I'm glad he's getting the recognition and the honor that he deserves. Obviously his numbers should be retired immediately. I'm glad the Rangers are doing that. And yeah, yeah, like I said, like when we talked about this yesterday, Lee, he goes up there with Don Mattingly and Patrick Ewing as New York sports greats who again never won the championship. And it's just it's sad he never got that ring, never got his name on the cup. And it just but he's gonna go down. He'll go down as one of the all-time greats, a Hall of Famer. I think first year eligibility, he should be a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. I am a little biased, but yeah, to me, he's got the numbers for it as well. But yeah, Lee, what are your thoughts on Lundqvist?
Yeah, like I agree with what you said about New York. I think he's just one of the great athletes that's going to go down without ever winning anything. Not even just limited to New York. But those exist. It does, we get Dan Marino's. Matt's talked about Roberto Luongo's another one who's another great goaltender that never won a cup. He wants to do a podcast with Lundqvist called "Goats That Never Won the Cup." I think that's a pretty good.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Goats That Never Won a Cup. Geeks Who Like Sports. There's synergies there. But look, we talked, I gave my thoughts about him a year ago. I mean, look, I was very skeptical of an actual return. I figured if anyone could do it, he could, but he had open heart surgery. He's not going to, I didn't think this was going to happen. Yeah. Good on the Rangers for retiring his number. I mean that it's the right thing to do. Just another quick story about him. I remember when I was working with the Rangers, Ray, in 2009, at training camp, I was helping check the players in, just super classy guys, super nice, asked my name. One of the only players to do that. Really was just really the epitome of class. I don't know how else to say it. And then even at Madison Square Garden on game nights, he'd look at you, he'd pound you on the hand. Like the guy cared. The guy clearly cared.
Yeah.
Consummate New Yorker. I was saying this to my friends yesterday. I think it was Katelynn I was saying this to, Ray, that I think he's the first goalie I really remember that I remember his entire career. I remember the day he went into net. I was watching it in my dorm room. Kevin Weeks was the goaltender. He got injured, and I remember he went into net, and I've seen everything he's done through the end of his career. I think he's the first great goaltender that I remember everything with. People said, what about Brodeur? Brodeur actually came in a little bit before I was watching hockey. I mean, around 95. Yeah. That's right before I started. So, in my life,
Brodeur, Richter, Van Beesbroek, all those guys, like, their beginnings of their career were before ours. My cognizance of sports.
Well, just like I don't remember Richter's first game. I don't, I've seen it, but like I remember Lundqvist's first game. I don't know of another goalie of his stature that has done that. I'm hoping it's going to be Carter Hart. I'm not going to lie to you, but I don't know another goalie of his stature that I've watched an entire career like that. But probably Carey Price would be the only other one, but he's still playing. So very interesting. And like I said, wish him the best. I'm looking forward to see what he does in retirement and where he goes from here.
Yeah, no, for sure. All the best wished to one of the all-time greats. And speaking of retirements, that brings us now to football. Tim Tebow, we got to talk about it. He's probably done. As the Jaguars,
you never say that. Never say that about Tim.
I'm going to guess he's done after somebody who hadn't played professional football in several years. Made one last valiant attempt with his old coach. I was surprised if he becomes a coach with the Jaguars or something of that nature.
I could see him just coaching
like on Meyer's staff. Yeah, for sure. But as a fourth string tight end, he looked lost on the field when he was there. He couldn't play special teams. He couldn't do, he was just there. And so he was one of the first cuts made by the Jaguars as they make their, obviously they try to get down to the 53-man roster for week 1, which is only a couple of weeks away now. But Tebow, a lot of guys rag on him. He always seemed like a good guy to me. Obviously, I mean, he's got a playoff win in Denver. People hated on him, but dude led the team to the playoffs and got them to the second round. And there's a lot of quarterbacks that can't say that in this league's history. So I think it was a weird little experiment. It was good press and publicity for the Jaguars. But he just, he couldn't do it. And that's it is what it is. Every athlete at some point has to figure out when it's time to hang up their cleats or their skates. And I think Tebow is I believe this will be the end for him in terms of a player. But again, I would not be surprised to see him on an NFL sideline at some point.
I think he'd be a fantastic coach, Ray. I think if he does a coaching career, he might actually make it where he wants to be, a potential championship. I think he'd be a phenomenal coach. Look, I'm not going to give the guy any crap for chasing his dream and for finding any way to chase his dream, and a lot of way living his dream. All right. I can relate to that as an athlete, not to his level, obviously, but like I would have done anything, and he did. And I'll tell you this, and then after my playing time, I found other ways to be involved, and I think he's going to do that too. He's done baseball, he's done football at an extremely high level. He just couldn't crack it. I never understood the hatred he got. I never understood it. He was nothing but nice to people. And again, this goes back to what I was saying earlier about celebrating success, or you could say he's not a success in some ways, but I don't know why we have to down that guy. There's other athletes that are down that don't deserve it either, but he's one of them. Right. And I never got that. So no pun intended here. Godspeed to Tim Tebow, wherever he does next,
if you do want to dissect it, I think sometimes that rubs some folks the wrong way.
Yeah, but he didn't do that. The media did. He never put it in people's face. Okay.
That's true.
You can make an argument like the guy's kneeling on the field, which is ironic as hell. But
very funny. Yeah.
But my point is like he never put it in anybody's face ever. All right. And it's like, people he does it on his Instagram. Like a lot of athletes talk about God and Jesus on their Instagram. It's just, he was picked on. All right. It was actually a form of bullying. All right. And again, they've done this with a lot of athletes. I'm not going to bring up Kaepernick now, but he's a victim of this too in a lot of ways. All right. Now he brings some of it on himself. All right. I will say that. Okay. But this is one of those things of like Tebow did nothing to deserve what he got. All right. And I think it's another example of I think a lot of the reasons teams didn't want him, Ray, is because he's too big of a story. All right. Teams don't want the distraction. All right. And again, remember, he was with the Eagles for a little bit too. Like he tried out for quarterback here and got cut. And the Jets and everyone else. But my point again is that I just don't think that guy did anything to deserve all the negativity. And even with that, he did it with class. He always turned the other cheek, which makes a lot of sense. Yes. I think he's helped a lot of people. In his journey. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next.
Yeah. And honestly, I think you should have stuck with baseball because I think the Mets right now could really desperately use him. It's the truth. And speaking of baseball, transitioning now to this is actually another terrible story out of baseball.
We don't get many good ones. The only good story is Ohtani, and we're not talking about him enough.
Well, we're going to talk about him, but unfortunately, again, in the worst way possible. Jack Morris, former World Series champion with the Minnesota Twins back in 1991, really a great pitcher in his time in the 80s and early 90s. Really a throwback in many ways. He is also now the color commentator for the Detroit Tigers. And of course, the Tigers played the Angels this week. And a lot of hoopla around that is Miguel Cabrera chasing 500 home runs and 3,000 hits, which is another great story in baseball right now. Miguel Cabrera, arguably one of the greatest easily top 5, if not the greatest right-hand hitters of all time. That's a great story. But Jack Morris, as Ohtani, by the way, hit his 40th home run of the year earlier this week. And it basically looks like he's going to run away with the MVP race, in my opinion, at this point, as he also pitched 8 innings of 1-run ball. And I think I don't know if it was the same game he hit his 40th home run, but it was definitely that series. And Jack Morris basically thought it would be funny to do a stereotypical Asian accent on air, making fun of Ohtani. He was promptly suspended. He tried to apologize, but it was a half-hearted apology at best. And again, this just weirdly goes to this hate towards Ohtani. We talked about this earlier in the year with Stephen A. Smith making fun of him and saying that he can't be the face of baseball because he doesn't speak English. And now you've got Jack Morris, again, a legend in a lot of ways, deciding that he's gonna do a bad accent, like he's on South Park or something. Lee, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't know, man. I go all over with these things. I think it's important to note that Ohtani did say he was not offended. And I think it's important because even though it's not appropriate, you can't be more offended than the person that's being offended.
That is true.
So I don't mean you. I'm just talking in general. I just don't think we're dealing with a lot of these issues the right way. I think there's a lot of discussions that should probably be happening that are not happening about maybe why is that inappropriate, right? Just the hammer down and like, maybe more should be coming out and having a conversation and doing something about why that's not important and discussing it. And so we can learn from it. Instead of doing this, letting it become politicized so you guys can save face to not be, to be woke or whatever. It's just, we're not learning from any of this stuff. And that's pretty obvious to me. We're not learning a thing. So if education's not taking place, what are we doing? All right. And what it is quick check marketing. I mean, like, let's be honest about it. A lot of the companies that do this stuff are doing it because they don't want to lose their audience or they don't want to lose their sponsors. Look what's going on with OnlyFans. All right. They don't want to lose their banking. All right. So it's like, again, if you're not going to have a discussion and you're just going to cut people off and like, let this devolve into the free speech. Oh, you didn't mean it. Like, it's just, we're not going to let you're creating crap for political parties to grab onto. So you have to pick a side. And that is so not the point and not what we need right now. We need to come back together. So were his comments inappropriate? Yes. Were they devastating? No. Could a conversation take place where people could learn and everyone could actually come through this? Yes. All right. Are we supposed to be follow this one, the guy doing an Asian accent, which he clearly did not mean to be offensive. Are we putting that in the same bucket as sexual abuse? Because it sure feels like it, Ray. It sure feels like that those are the same buckets and they are not the same thing. All right. All right. One of them legit is unforgivable. All right. And should be fired on the spot. Right. And also spoken about to prove my point. The other one is guy made a mistake. We're going to transition to another guy that made a stupid mistake. They cost him his job too. I'm not for wokeness in the sense that it's being used. I don't even like that term. I am for discussion and learning. Right? It's not okay what he did, but we can learn from it. You morons! By the way, the MLB is trash. Thank you.
It is. Speaking of baseball trash, by the way, although actually this is, I don't know. I don't know what to think, but this is something, again, it's you're innocent until proven guilty. I guess I want to mention it just because you did mention sexual abuse. Trevor Bauer actually had a big win in his case where the judge threw out the restraining order that was placed against him initially, citing that evidence proves that the woman in question who made the claims that he sexually assaulted her did indeed ask for the physical abuse, and that some people like it rough, not going to get into it, and it just he did nothing that she did not ask for. There were safe words involved and all this other stuff. You can all read the depositions yourselves. Look, he had the restraining order thrown out. This is a big win for him as he tries to clear his name.
I'll give you another one,
for what are some heinous charges.
I'll give you another one of why I get worried about this stuff, because I am big on the innocent until proven guilty. Doesn't mean you shouldn't be held in prison until you're proven guilty for some things, like if you're committed of murder. Johnny Depp is a great example of a guy that was accused horribly of abuse and has been found not guilty, but he's pretty much lost his career because of it. That's why you haven't seen any Pirates of the Caribbean movies over the last 5 years, 6 years, whatever. All right. We got to stop this trend of, oh, look, I'm doing something. You're not doing anything. All right. Typing online is not doing something. If you really care, go take action. And if you don't care, honestly, that's fine too. Stop talking about it though. If you're not going to take action, stop talking about it like you feel like you're taking action. Do something. You don't even have to tell people that you're doing it. That's how you know it's pure. Ray knows this, and I'm not going to mention him. I do lots of things for my community, for disadvantaged people. I don't broadcast them. That's not why I'm doing them. All right. That's why. And I'm not going to name them now because of that. But I do that because that's how I take action. Ray, another thing that's not on the rundown, we have to bring it up. Speaking of people getting fired, the Jeopardy host. It's incredible.
I wasn't sure if you wanted this on here.
Let's do it.
Going back going back to this is something we've talked about. This was a Twitch exclusive segment last week where he talked about how Mike Richards and Mayim Bialik were going to split hosting duties. She was going to do like special tournaments, and he was going to do like the regular season run because he could obviously commit more time to it as already the executive producer. She would, as an actress, would only come in as for those special tournaments. And now it came out, well, he just lost his job after one day of shooting the new season. Mike Richards, supposedly on a podcast he did a couple of years ago. Some stuff, looking at some of the stuff that he did, actually, it's not even the stuff he did on his podcast that was that bad. It felt like he was trying to be a cheap shock jock to some of the stuff that he was saying. But the more heinous stuff that seemed to have come out was that he was discriminating against, when he was on The Price is Right, he was discriminating against the models when they got pregnant. He was discriminating against other coworkers behind the scenes. And he was just generally a toxic individual to work with, again, especially towards women. That is much worse than, I mean, again, not saying that what he said on his podcast 7 years ago was good or proper, but it felt like, looking at what he said by the quotes, I'm like, oh, this is just the guy desperately trying to be Howard Stern for some reason, even though he's a game show host. Like, it just obviously it didn't work as Katelynn gets a posture check here in the Twitch chat. So those of you can see us, if you're watching the video, we have to set up straight now. Anyway. But so he's been fired. He'll stay on as executive producer, so he'll still be rich and powerful and have a say over the game show. But he's been taken. He'll lose his hosting duties again. Wanting to put it out there, I am available. If anybody
you would not be a good Jeopardy host.
I would be a great Jeopardy
host.
Be so what kind of a stupid answer was that?
What is the New York Mets? You moron! So you do that.
Or no, it's like when the video. It's like when the video game topic comes up, like you see those memes or something. It's like this blue-haired hedgehog, and it's like, what is Danky Kang? And I'm like, you idiots! Oh yeah, goodbye, contestant.
Just lots of Ray doing the blinking meme guy. Anyway, look, this is all I'm gonna say. Is that one? I'm not going to question the reasons behind it. I question how they didn't do any vetting on him before they hired him.
Yeah.
That's a little weird to me. You can bet your bottom dollar that there's some college kid out there that's going to research everyone hired for every job and find out every tweet or Facebook message they ever put out there. By the way, they did warn us about this about 5 years ago, Ray. Like, be careful what you're putting on Facebook. Back in 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. People were putting stupid stuff up. Oh, be careful what you put on there. It's going to last forever. It's coming back to haunt everybody now, which is funny.
Yeah.
Look, it figures. It figures there'd be controversy around this. So just do the right thing and put LeVar Burton in there. Everybody wants it.
Yeah.
No one's fighting it. You can still have him split time with Mayim Bialik. I can't ever say
Mayim Bialik.
Thank you. She's awesome, by the way. Let's just do it. It's his turn. It makes sense. He read to every one of us as a kid, by the way. We'd probably be invested on him going on Jeopardy. It's a natural progression from Star Trek to Reading Rainbow to that.
Yeah.
So please do it.
Yes. So we just got.
That's a great idea. Katelynn just came up with a great idea. Our producer producing great ideas, by the way.
Yeah, a new mini show idea, Geeks Who Like Jeopardy, where Ray asks a fan trivia and then rants at them, basically probably saying how stupid they are. But yeah, I would be, that could be fun. Got some more folks popping into chat here.
Think of the categories.
Yes. Matt says sign him up. Let's see. Matt's friend says his kids aren't allowed online until they're 16 to prevent them from posting stupid stuff. That's not a bad idea.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah.
I'm not hiding the internet. I'm just teaching them about it.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna do the show real quick, Ray. We're gonna put you on the spot. This is Geeks Who Like Sports Jeopardy. All right, today's contestant is Matt Cavalieri from the United Kingdom. Matt, you can pick a category. The categories are overused memes, New York baseball, Batman, or the New York Giants. And for those of you listening, we're going to do this live, so I have to fill the airtime. So Matt, you better be there. Please pick a category and an amount. The amount can be any denomination between 0 to 15 billion pounds. Katelynn is saying to do memes. Don't influence. Overused memes for 100. So it's got to be a Simple question, Ray. Do you want to come up with a question, or do you want me to come up with a question?
It's the simplest question. I mean, I hear this is a super simple.
Remember, it's got to be. It's the answer. You're giving the answer
because it's only 100. It's only 100. So
yes.
This meme features this Marvel superhero pointing at a mirror image of himself.
Yes, that's absolutely. Yeah,
that's 100 level question.
It is, and now the question is, does he get it wrong on purpose? No, he got it right. What is Spider-Man?
Yeah, he got it right. What is Spider-Man? Although I will not dock you for the wrong punctuation there. It should be a question mark.
Yes. He shouted, "What is Spider-Man?" Well, do we need to explain to him what Spider-Man is now? Because it's not in the form of a question.
Yeah.
He's yelling at you.
But yeah, no.
That could be really fun.
We'll take it. We will take it.
I'm going to come up with some hard questions for next day. By the way, shouldn't have used over your best bet was going New York baseball on that one, but that's okay. We'll let it pass.
Yeah, it's okay. That one I would have given you a hard one. Yeah, but let's see a couple other folks jumping in chat. We actually just wrapped up. Speaking of New York baseball, Ben jumped in wanting to know we saw if you're a New York Yankee fan and saw it was kind of sad. This kid in the front row. Again, folks, pay attention when you're at the ball game.
Yep.
This poor kid looks like he got concussed because he just whiffed on making the catch. It was a low line drive home run from Giancarlo Stanton, hit him smack in the forehead, and kid looked like he was seeing stars at the ball game the other night. But yeah, pay attention at the ball game, and if you don't know how to catch a baseball, just put the glove in front of your face. Protect your face, folks. Protect. That's the moneymaker. That's the moneymaker. Like, I don't make any money with mine, but for most folks, it's the moneymaker. But yeah, tidy screens. We talked about Suicide Squad a couple of weeks ago. Go back to previous episodes to check that out. Yeah, Matt was like, "What is Danky Kank?" Yeah.
Katelynn, cut all of this or don't.
Yeah, it's up to you. So, but yeah, no. If you want to know our opinions on Suicide Squad, go back to previous episodes. Go to geekswholiksports.com. For sure. Going into our last sports section topic now for the day. Just wanted to jump. Hey, folks were asking us questions in chat. Just wanted to kind of get that cleared up. For sure. The big news, I'm not gonna lie, the biggest thing that happened to professional wrestling in 20 years happened last night on AEW Rampage. CM Punk returned after a 7-year hiatus from the Squared Circle. It was the most chilling, in a good way, moment that I had seen literally since I was a kid. The last time I felt this good watching wrestling was when Mick Foley won the WWE Championship on Monday Night Raw. I want to say 1999, right? Where you had that moment where it's like, Mick Foley does it. He makes you believe that your dreams can come true. Where he's running around the ring like a madman, holding the belt up, and it's just that feel-good moment. CM Punk coming back to professional wrestling, the kickoff Rampage in his hometown of Chicago, grown men crying in the stands. Seriously, they come up to him several times. It's like, it is one of the best moments in wrestling for someone like that to come back, because especially how he left wrestling, burnt out, broken, something that he loved so much, and we loved that he loved it, absolutely destroyed by 8 years in WWE. And he came back and he seemed rejuvenated. He called out Darby Allin, which is already, again, something that WWE fails to do, where you have veterans ready to put over young talent and build the future. Use your veterans like Jericho and Punk and Sting and Big Show to build your young talent. What a freaking concept. Yeah, no, it was amazing. And Matt mentions in the chat, it was the worst kept secret. It was the worst kept secret. But you know why they did that? They wanted people to watch. And I guarantee you people did watch it. And I cannot wait to see what the ratings are between SmackDown and Rampage on this coming week. Because I'm going to say this. I recorded SmackDown. I watched Rampage live. I recorded SmackDown. SmackDown for the show before a major pay-per-view. Not just a major pay-per-view, probably the third biggest pay-per-view of the year in SummerSlam. And the show sucked. The show was terrible. They demolished any hopes of the stakes between Cena and Reigns by Reigns being like, I'm going to put my career on the line. To me, there is no way going into SummerSlam tonight, and I could be wrong. Now, that Reigns is going to lose this match, because my original prediction was that Reigns was going to lose to Cena so that Cena can break the record, and that was part of the reason why Cena holds up the title. And I believe that's also why Ric Flair asked out of his contract a month ago, because Ric Flair didn't want to be there to do the thing where he like comes out and applauds Cena for breaking his record, because Ric Flair, as everybody knows in wrestling, is way too freaking proud for that. It's probably part of the reason why they waited this long for Cena to break the record, because he feels, again, Flair and McMahon, they have a love-hate relationship. So Flair asked out of his contract. McMahon said, "Sir, get out of here. You're fired." Yeah, whatever. Bye-bye. Like, and then my thought was then that Big E would then come in and cash Money in the Bank on Cena, because then this way Cena, who already said in his promo last night, Cena said that he's going to leave after SummerSlam for a couple of months, just like every other part-timer has the last 5 years. Oldberg and Brock Lesnar. Like, it's he's basically spelled it out for you. And now tonight, now that they added this stipulation, that they put it on the career on the line of Reigns, I don't think anything's going to happen. Don't watch SummerSlam, folks. If you're watching us live, if you watch after the fact, I think the show is going to be absolutely garbage tonight now, because they absolutely ruined it. Oh, and then, by the way, their other big thing that WWE did, Edge is now Brood Edge again, where he's got vampire fangs. He's got blood coming from the ceiling. You went back to 20-year-old Edge. AEW has got the Impact World Championship on his buddy Christian. Which one would you rather watch? Vampire Edge or Christian, the world champion? You tell me, folks, because I know what I would rather watch. And right now, AEW is kicking WWE's butt in every way in terms of programming. Even when there's like a botch or something or anything on AEW, they recover from it. They do a better job of interacting with their crowd. They do a better job of putting their young talent over. I am so sick of the same goddamn freaking rivalries here in WWE, and that's why you're seeing a mass exodus. Everybody's hitting the AAA Lucha Libre. Everybody's hitting the Impact. Everybody's hitting the AEW. They're going to Ring of Honor. They're going to New Japan. Nobody with any talent wants to work at WWE anymore, and it shows. The show sucks, and I'm sick of it. Let's go, AEW, 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 CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk. Let's go, baby. Let's go. The best in the world is back after getting burnt out. And he took some shots, not directly at WWE, but he did take some shots saying that I quit professional wrestling in 2005, because that's specifically when he went to WWE and left Ring of Honor, meaning he went to the world of sports entertainment, because McMahon hates wrestling. I hate that wrestling stuff. I hate it because I'm Vince McMahon. I'm an entertainer. Look at me with my big balls. I'm Mr. McMahon. You can all go to hell. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, my God. It makes me sick, the WWE product right now. Absolutely. Oh, and by the way, CM Punk brought his ice cream bars, baby. We have ice cream bars. Let's go.
Wow. That was a Tony Soprano level. I don't even know if that was a rant. That was more of a cheering section there by Ray about AEW. Now, Ray, I got a few points here. This is absolutely going to be a side quest, by the way. Number one, as he slowly drinks his water and realizes he hasn't slept in 27 hours, Ray has just expended all of his energy. This is what I'm going to say. All right. Something very important has now happened. Again, I'm a little bit of an outsider here. I don't watch professional wrestling hardly at all. I will tell you that I did watch the highlights of CM Punk coming back, because I understand the importance of it. And I'd be kind of a bad co-host if I didn't watch the stuff that we were going to talk about. But I'll tell you this. This is something that's happened for the first time. And I don't know if you even noticed that it just happened. You have now turned on WWE for the first time. It was questionable before, but you have officially turned. I actually was going to ask this question. I was thinking about this before the episode of, are you still going to watch WWE? And you've given a pretty clear answer now of not if AEW or any of this other stuff is on. All right.
No.
So the larger question is, are you going to watch it if you can? You can answer that in a minute. But I'll say that, look, this was the tipping point that needed to happen, and it's happened. All right. People are now talking bad about WWE. They weren't doing that before to this level. It was, they're just not doing as good as they used to do. Now it's like, I don't want to watch this anymore. You ruined it. All right. So this is a big turning point. And now, again, I'll say this again. this is when WWE tends to figure things out. All right. This was a knockdown, not a knockdown, but knockdown punch by AEW. It was as our friend Dan said on chat. It was in our Facebook page. It was a goosebumps, hair standing up type moment. And right, it hasn't happened in a long time. CM Punk, by the way, very authentically himself. Right. There's no acting with him. That's him. Right. Like he's always been like that. It's probably one of the reasons he left wrestling when he did, because he wasn't allowed to be himself.
He hated playing a character. Yeah.
Right. So like I think that this is big. And we'll see what happens. I think you can expect to see The Rock at WWE soon. They're go-to.
They're already talking. Supposedly now all the rumors make even more sense, because the rumor is that Roman you're going to retain at SummerSlam, and The Rock is going to be the one to come back. Right. And because they're cousins, he was going to be the one to take the title off of him. And I'm like, but I bet they're going to wait for Black Adam. For The Rock, when The Rock is promoting Black Adam, The Rock will come back and become WWE.
Totally agree with that. And again, it'll be for a week because he's not going to wrestle. The other thing about CM Punk is he's in his early 40s now. So these are just other things. Yeah, you got to think about it. That guy's not going to be able to wrestle forever. So look,
I would say he's got 3 to 5 years.
This is my point. It's a knockdown punch, not a knockout. So the war is not WWE sucks. This is now, if this was a Rocky movie, the montage fight has begun. Dun, 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 dun. Now it's on. WWE had to take notice of that. And again, I would speculate they may have been waiting for that. Okay. Yeah. They have something in their back pocket. I do believe that. I don't know what it is or how they're going to do it, but they have something in their back pocket. Keeping in mind too, this is not the first time the WWE has been in this position where they've had a knockdown punch. WCW did that very hard in the 90s.
Yeah.
Okay. So
for almost 2 full years,
right,
WCW won the ratings war every night.
So I don't want to say that I'm rooting for anybody. I'm just fascinated by the business side of this and the marketing side of it. Yeah. But yeah, I think that there now is officially a new wrestling war that has begun after last night. That was the firing, the kickoff. It wasn't a war. It was pre-war stuff. All right. The war's on.
It was people positioning their troops.
Right. And I believe that was the first blast, but it's on. It's clearly on. Salvo, mainly because I was waiting for this to happen with you. If you turn on WWE, which you have done. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You didn't hide that at all, but we can go back to the tape if you need to see. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I will tell you this, as you've said many times, the rising tide lifts all ships. This is good for wrestling, period. At some point, AEW or these other ones are going to get too big, or something's going to happen and the wrestlers are going to jump back to the WWE. You can predict it right now. Okay. By the way, I fully expect Undertaker to show up now at some point in the next 3 years. Just coming out, I'm back for a day.
God, in a wheelchair or something, probably. Yeah.
Hello. Oh, he'll have a kid.
Rest in.
Yeah, no, I get that. Listen, that's what I would do with the Undertaker. I'd have him have a kid, and he's got like a young, rebuild the Undertaker as a young kid. You could probably pull that off if you knew what you were doing. All right, give him a funny name. What's his name? Shovel. Okay, here we go. His name is Hearse. But I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be. So I'm kind of call it right now. There'll be some Undertaker influence and some Rock influence. The Rock is loyal to WWE. The only way Rock would go to AEW is if he's not. No. The only way he would do anything there is to somehow help WWE. So he's going to show up at some point to help. All right. And again, just to give the listeners here, if you don't watch wrestling, they used to cheer CM Punk at WWE when he wasn't there as a point. They were trying to make a point that like your wrestling is horrible. So very, 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 very curious times. Opening fire. Ray, great rant, great points.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, and again, at this point, like, look, what I've been doing the past few months really with WWE is I've been fast forwarding through the matches and just kind of getting the results because I record them all just to kind of keep up to date with what's going on. I watch every second of AEW every week.
There you go.
Dynamite is better than NXT and Raw and SmackDown. SmackDown's the closest, right? SmackDown is the best of the three that WWE has, but Dynamite is better. AEW's pay-per-views are better. and Rampage in 2 episodes is better. AE-dub. So
yeah, it sounds like me singing.
There we go.
Just so you know, that's the equivalent of me singing.
What? Me chanting AE-dub? It's not like I'm going Jimin or something. Like, come on.
I've outgrown that. You've done it too many times now and ruined it for yourself.
Yeah. I will say the one thing I will say, if I do have one criticism, and this is of both promotions, I want them to go both promotions to go back to the 2-man broadcast booth. Impact actually does that, although I'm not a big fan of Stryker and D'Lo Brown as the commentators. D'Lo Brown, for those who don't watch Impact, he's the commentator on TNA Impact. Well, it's just called Impact now. It's not TNA anymore. But anyway, I think that though that's the one problem with what AEW is doing is they have a 3, if not a 4-man broadcast booth sometimes, and WWE always has a 3-man booth. The wrestling was at its best when it was Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler. It's that simple. Or if you want to go old school, Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. And I will say this, Chris Jericho, who's now 50 and feels like he might be getting ready to retire from in-ring action soon after 30 years in the ring. Jericho on commentary is phenomenal. Excalibur, who's one of the play-by-play guys for AEW, is phenomenal. That's your pairing. AEW, I'm giving you this for free. That is your superstar commentary pairing. Excalibur on play-by-play, Jericho on color. That is what you do. I love Taz. Taz as a heel manager is fine. Mark Henry, have him do something else. Big Show, Paul White, he looks like he's getting ready to go back into in-ring action. Let him, again, veterans putting over young guys. Jim Ross, I love Jim Ross. Jim Ross is one of my inspirations as a broadcaster. Whenever I do play-by-play, part of the reason why I do it I do it like a wrestling announcer, and I do it like Jim Ross, because I want people to feel the excitement in every single moment, and that's what Jim Ross did for 30 years. Jim Ross, as much as I love him, is a shell of his former self. You can hear the age in his voice. He's stumbling over his words. One night he called Dynamite WWE Dynamite. He's losing. I'm really sad. It really breaks my heart to say this. Have him the talent booker. Have him working in the back. He is still a great wrestling brain. You can't have him in front of the camera anymore. I'm sorry. Jericho and Excalibur. That's your broadcast team. In WWE, you got nobody right now on it. Actually, that's not true. Corey Graves on the Raw team is great. Pat McAfee on the SmackDown team is great. Michael Cole has sucked for 20 years. Get rid of him. He's done. I'm sorry. That other guy that you got from UFC or whatever, Jimmy Smith or whoever, I have no, he's terrible. Get rid of him. Byron Saxton, terrible. Get rid of him. Wade Barrett on NXT ain't bad. You got some good color guys in WWE. You don't have a good play-by-play man. I'm available. Anyway, but yeah, no, as Matt says in chat, Jericho would be a great commentator. And yeah, I think so. Jericho on commentary is phenomenal. Again, Excalibur and Jericho. That's your A team if you're AEW. 2 guys. That's it. 2 guys.
I agree with you.
It's like the same, even thank you. Even in baseball now, and all these broadcast booths, you get more than 2 guys. You got guys fighting for airtime. You got guys stumbling over each other. This is just broadcasting 101, guys. Like, it's bad. 3-man booths, and especially 4-man booths, are bad. Bad. It's that simple. Anyway, so that does it for sports. Oh, gosh. All right, moving on now to our final segment of the show. This is a fun mashup that we kind of stumbled on yesterday as we were talking on streamlounge.io as we were doing our What If watch along. What sports teams would fictional properties root for, right? Fictional in comics or video games. And it started because we were talking about Ninja Turtles and what baseball teams they would root for in New York.
Yeah, well, and we should start with that too. Is it Mets or Yankees? And then we realized there's probably a split. They're brothers.
Yeah, there's probably, I would imagine, again, I think we talk about this. I think Donnie and Leo would be Yankee fans. And I think Mikey and Raph would be Mets fans. And Splinter wouldn't like either one.
A Mets Jets fan, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. With the underdogs, for sure. And Splinter watches the Japanese league. Splinter doesn't care. He's the Yoshimura Giants or something. Yes. So, But yeah, so I mean, other ones. I mean, there's a lot of fictional sports teams.
This way, Ray, is what you do is you pick a character, and I'll pick a character, and then the other host will pick the team, and we can discuss it.
Okay.
So you can go
Batman.
Okay, so we're talking actual. Just so everyone knows, this is fair because like there's Gotham teams. We're talking about actual teams.
Okay? Actual real life fictional characters.
Right.
Real life sports teams.
And what sport? Let's start with that.
Okay, let's start with baseball's too obvious.
It's the Yankees. I mean, that's
really no. I don't think it is. I
mean, if it's not them, I could see him being actually you're gonna think this is weird, but a Giants fan.
A San Francisco Giants fan?
Yeah, for some reason that makes sense to me, and I don't know why.
So no, I
yes,
think that Batman would be a Phillies fan because I think Gotham is closer to Philly.
I'm not using location based. I'm just thinking like the person.
Well, no, but I mean also like just in terms of like the city's full of losers and bums and like all this other stuff and like he's like your one shining light. You keep saying that like. You know, Carter Hart, like Batman would be like, Carter Hart's only 22. He's only 22.
That's what you think of Batman?
I think he would. No, yeah, I think he would. I think that's, yeah, I think when I think of Gotham, and I think, yeah, he would root for the hometown teams. And I think of Gotham as Philadelphia.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good
Superman
point.
Would be a Yankee. Superman would be New York. Superman, Metropolis is New York.
Carter Hart is 23 now, by the way, Ray, first of all. And I don't.
He's only 23.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd put Batman there. Like you said, yeah, Gotham is New York. I mean, in terms of like that's what they call New York City now. And he's
Metropolis
super
is really
rich.
More.
He's super rich. I mean, he's just got a Yankee all over him the way the Yankees do their slimy, no good baseball business.
I think Superman would be a Yankees fan.
No, Superman's a Royals fan. Come on.
Oh yeah, I guess from Smallville with Kansas.
Yeah, this is a Royals fan. It's just obvious. It's he's not a big city guy. He's maybe Clark Kent.
Yeah,
all
Clark.
All right, no, Superman's a Royals fan.
No, Clark Kent would be a Mets fan because Clark Kent's a loser.
Yeah, you're 100% right about that.
Yeah, Clark Kent's a Mets.
Superman's a Royals fan.
A Mets fan, but Superman likes the Royals. Actually,
I think Batman's more New York. Like if Philly was gonna have a superhero, I'll think about that in a minute because it's none of these guys. All right, I can tell you that right now. All right, let's go. It's my turn now. All right, I'll give you a good one because you're gonna be like, oh, it's easy, and then you're gonna realize it's not. All right, what hockey team does Wolverine root for?
I would say Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, I think that's what I would pick too. He'd probably go West Coast, not East Coast.
He's more because even that he's from Western Canada, and I think that he would go. I think he would go straight up Canucks. I don't see him being an Oilers guy.
No,
I don't
see him. None of the Eastern
like,
teams work for him. Like he's not going to go for the Senators.
Oilers. Yeah, I think
Vancouver's the obvious one, but maybe he goes Kraken in the new year. Who knows?
The only thing I could also think of is that maybe he's either a Leafs or Canadiens fan because he's so old that he's been around. It would be
Canadiens.
6.
He would go Canadiens.
Yeah. So I think either if he's not a Canucks fan, he's a Canadiens fan.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. Matt says he'd be one close to Alkali Lake. That's fair. Katelynn says a great one. Yeah, Deadpool would be a Philly fan. I agree with that. That makes a lot of sense actually in a lot of different ways because we just love to make things real that aren't. All right, Ray, you're up. We'll do one more each, and then maybe we'll come to like a.
All right, one. And then we'll leave it up. Then we'll open it up to the crowd.
Yeah, obviously, but the people watching us live, feel free to drop something in chat as well.
Yes, and obviously, if you're watching them on replay or after the fact, feel free
to drop something in chat as well. Yeah,
and let us know. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Let's see. Another. See, to me, this one is super obvious. Spider-Man.
It's New York though. I mean, that's
what I'm saying. I mean, that's the thing. Most superheroes are New York.
Like, I know.
And Spider-Man is actually canonically is a Mets fan.
Yeah, no, he's obviously a Mets fan too. Just the way he acts. I mean, if we're thinking about New York sports superheroes, let's just get out of the way. I think Daredevil's a Yankees fan, even though he's in Hell's Kitchen.
Right.
You know, I think Kingpin's a Yankees fan.
Okay.
Tony Stark is a Yankees fan. You know, like you can
Tony Stark is definitely a
Captain
Yankees
America.
Fan. I mean, that's the thing. Most because of the way things work, most of the superheroes. All right, here's a good one. Green Lantern. Coast City.
Well, which one?
Hal Jordan.
Okay.
Hal Jordan.
Padres?
No,
I mean,
to me,
I
that's
an East thing, but yeah.
I would say Oakland A's because they're green.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I could see that too.
If you're sticking to the West Coast, I think yeah.
I think Mario is like a Barcelona fan. That's he's an international soccer fan, right?
Or Juventus,
whatever. Wherever Messi is. No, I'm just
I think another obvious. If you want to stick with Green Lanterns, what about Guy Gardner? To me, this is an easy one. If you know Guy Gardner is. Yeah, Guy Gardner's from Baltimore, so he's got to be an Orioles fan.
Yeah, and again, this is a good one. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. Like we need it from chat. We need to know some fictional characters that would.
Yeah, would like Matt agrees because Juventus is the big Italy team, so that would be who Mario goes for in terms of international soccer.
I'm looking like Boba Fett right now. Like Boba Fett, it doesn't really make any sense. He'd be a football fan. He'd be a fan of wherever Tom Brady is.
He'd be a rugby fan, I think. I think Boba Fett would be a big rugby fan. He'd be rooting for like the New South Wales Blues or whatever in Australia.
Yeah, so Katelyn's saying Link now from Zelda. See, this is where it gets tough. Like, well, first off, what sport would he want? Is there a sport here where we throw chickens in pots? Anything like that? He's a bowling fan. Fishing fan. He's a professional fishing fan.
Yeah, he's an archery fan. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a fan of the Olympics for his country.
Yes, he's an Olympics. Yeah, he roots for Hyrule in the Olympics.
Here's one for you. What about Marty McFly and Doc Brown from Hill Valley, California? Because I think Marty's probably an Angels fan, if I had to guess.
That you know what the thing is Angel fans don't exist though, so he'd probably have to be a Dodgers fan.
Well, I wonder where Hill Valley actually is, right? Like where they film
in California. I want to say I figure that's got to be
desert areas,
like around the LA area. I'm gonna guess that it's got to be near LA. So I'm gonna say
he'd be a Kings fan. Michael J. Fox, big hockey guy, right?
For sure. You know what I would say. I would say in the original timeline, Marty's an Angels fan. Like his family are all Angels fans, but then when he goes back in time,
they become Dodger fans.
They become Dodger fans.
That's a deep take, and I like it. I like it a lot, right? And then I don't know if I think if they're football fans, they're not. That's a tough one. We should do Biff too. Biff would definitely be an Oakland Raiders fan.
Oh, for sure. He roots for the Raiders, and he still remembers the days when they played in LA.
Right, just win, baby.
And yeah, exactly. Yeah, I could see, they would be, because they would be Charger fans, Marty McFly, because
that's right.
Because the Chargers at 1.21 gigawatts.
1.21 gigawatts should be gigawatts. Yes. For those of you who don't know, he said gigawatts. Yes. The actual correct pronunciation is gigawatts, but all of us take it as gigawatts, as it's a fictional number and it's a fictional film. It's a fictional story. It's not real. Ray, it's not real. It's not real. It didn't happen.
I know. I'm trying to think if there's like any Chicago superheroes or something. Like,
I mean, there's athletes. I'm sorry. There's fictional characters that I could see liking Chicago. Like Max Payne to me is a Chicago guy. All right, you know what I mean? I can see him.
Isn't that New York too?
I think it is, but I could see he's much more of a Chicago hero than he is, up there. What I'm saying? Like I could see him being the Bears fan in New York. I could, even though he's from I mean, yeah, they don't have to be from there. We just have to think of like the type of teams that are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think like the guys from Vice City would probably be like Dolphins fans and stuff. 100%,
but they're not heroes.
Yeah. No.
We need one more from chat. I need one more from chat. We need a major superhero.
Yeah, the kids from Stranger Things don't count, Katelynn.
Yeah, we need somebody. Okay, like you said, we've established that Iron Man and
what's his name? Crimson Dynamo, or
he's a fan of the Dynamo from the KHL. Easy.
I was gonna say that's what I'm saying, right? Like, there you go. That's an easy one. Russian hockey, yeah. So
that's
and then what we got? We got
Deadpool's definitely Philadelphia. By the way, I'm just going back to this because nobody hates Philly sports more than themselves, and only Darth Vader and Deadpool hate themselves. So that's definitely Philadelphia right there. So Vader is a Philadelphia fan.
I was gonna say, or Deadpool is also Canadian. He could be a Leafs fan.
right?
Because he's constant like every year he just keeps coming back and they keep coming back, but they never win. And he just keeps regenerating and he just never wins.
Mad Chats is the Flash. That's a fair one. That's a good one.
Yeah, what is this? That's Star City, right? That's
something like that. It's not Star City. It's something else. I forgot where the name of it is. It's not Star City. Star Labs is where he works.
Central, or is
Central
it Central?
Central
City. Yep.
Chicago. There's your Chicago guy.
There's your Chicago guy. Yeah, I was gonna say there's your Chicago guy.
Yeah. Big fan of the Cubs, right there. Big Cubs fan, not a White Sox fan. He likes the Cubs.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he's definitely Cubs, Bulls, Blackhawks.
Yeah.
And the Bears.
The Bears. Wow, this is good, but. We want to know. What you think. Comment below. Let us know. Pick a superhero and tell us why he's a fan of the team he's or she is a fan of. Let's make it happen.
Yes, this was a fun topic. This was fun.
I love this. Robin is an Eagles fan. No, he is a Baltimore Orioles fan or a Baltimore fan.
Ravens. I mean, he definitely likes some kind of bird.
He's an Orioles fan. I mean, it's the closest bird.
It also depends on what Robin.
That's fair too. He could be a Cardinals fan for all you know.
Yeah, I mean
Caitlyn Jays just said. Katelynn just said in a room. There's more than one. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. You just thought that there's more than one Robin.
Okay, that's a whole nother topic for.
We're not going
there,
Katelynn,
to teach you about all the Robins. Dick Grayson
all of them
Jason
are
Todd
in Titans.
Tim Drake.
All
and
of them are in
Lane.
Titans.
Yes,
they are. All three of them are in Titans right now.
They even have Tim Drake there. I'm way behind on Titans. Are they gonna? You think they're gonna do Damian Wayne? You think they'll do Damian Wayne at some point? Probably number 4.
Maybe it's possible. They do have all three though. They have Grayson as Nightwing. They have all three.
Which we knew was gonna happen.
Yeah, well,
and obviously Todd is becoming Jace. Todd's becoming Red Hood in the 3rd season. I know they've spoiled that already, but like,
Robin.
So yeah, again,
the actual Robin. It's funny.
Yeah, but we want to know we really want to know what you guys think. We appreciate everybody who has been here in the Twitch chat with us for the past couple of hours. We of course appreciate everybody who's watching after the fact, whether it's on your drive home or at your office or wherever you're listening to us, however you listen to us, Apple, Spotify, whatever. We appreciate iHeartRadio, all of those. We really, really appreciate it. But yeah, this was a fun episode.
I have to shout Katelynn, I will give her this because we did say it. She says she knows Batman and she knows there's multiple Robins. So I'll give her that. I don't want her to feel bad. If you do know Batman, you do know Batman. I'll give you that.
There you go. So yeah, all right. Katelynn is off the hook, for sure. Oh God, I'm just trying to think now. Again, everybody keeps going back to New York.
Missouri, I was going to say, right? Peter Quill's from Missouri.
I think so. Yeah. So I see him being probably a Chiefs fan. I can see him being like Cardinals, Chiefs,
Blues.
Yeah, Cardinals and Chiefs. That's all they got. So I mean, they have the Royals too, but like
Kansas.
I think he'd be Cardinals, Chiefs. I think he would go for Peter Quill. So, but that's a good one too, Tidy. Very good, very good. I was gonna say the Ghostbusters, but I'm like, oh yeah, they're New York again. It's like, oh man.
We'll break them down. Are they all Yankees fans?
I mean, Venkman's definitely a Yankee fan.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think. By the way, Peter Quill could be Blues fan. He could be, there's a lot of St. Louis teams out there, so I could see him doing.
Oh yeah, that's right. I completely forgot the Blues existed.
Yeah, they won a Stanley Cup not too long ago, so that's okay.
Yeah, and then they really fell off. So,
They're around.
All right, well, let's wrap this up, and then we'll do 5 minutes to overtime with everybody here on Twitch. Thank you all so much for tuning in here to Geeks Who Like Sports. As always, we really, really appreciate it. As always, be sure to join us on the Facebook group, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all that other fun stuff, GWLS Podcast on those social medias. And always, feel free to follow me and Lee on Twitter as well, or Instagram and all that other fun stuff. We appreciate it. We love talking with y'all. I dropped the y'all there. Wow, we were talking about Missouri and stuff.
Drop the y'all.
Guys, I'm on fumes. It's been 28 hours with no sleep. So I am going to wrap it up. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us for a couple of hours. For Lee, I am Ray. This has been episode number 120 of Geeks Who Like Sports, and we will see you next week. Another spanking brand new episode. Good night, everybody.